The regular meeting for the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls will come to order at this time. Today's date is April 15th, and the time is 7:06. Please note that Trustee Price and Trustee Lucasio are not here. However, Trustee Lucasio is on his way, I have heard. We do have a quorum. At this time, we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Barry, would you please lead us tonight? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We have a full house tonight. We're glad you are here as we thank our outgoing trustees and welcome in our new board members. We have a lot on the agenda tonight. We will have a reception with a break after the new trustees are sworn in. If you need to leave anytime, feel free to do that at any time. You don't have to stay for the entire if the schedule doesn't allow. Are there any, item number 2, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to this agenda? I would like to move the farewell and welcoming reception to after the oath of office and the seating of our new elected members of the board. This would allow a break after the swearing in of the new board and allow those that need to leave at that time more of a opportunity to do so. Is that okay? So the farewell will be after the oath of office.
Because it seems like they have to be numbers to be welcomed.
Yeah, and plus, then people,
Yeah.
Okay. So is that okay, guys? Okay, moving right along. Item number 3, review, approve, and sign construction agreements for the new town hall building prepared by staff between the town of Green Mountain Falls and the constructor Ed Green Construction and the town of Green Mountain Falls and Land Plumbing and Excavating and Ed Green Construction as referenced in Resolution 2014-04. Our town attorney is here. Mr. Mike Wagner from CIRSA is here. Ken Murphy with Murphy Construction. Fred Green.
He's not here, it's actually Brock and Josh Green.
Okay, and then Mark Lamb with Lamb. Okay, welcome you guys, and Mr. Seaver, and our intern town manager, Mr. MacArthur.
This is going to be a long
I know, it's like,
presentation, guys.
Yes. So, welcome you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making the trip in Denver as well, and nice to meet you. So, Mr. MacArthur, turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you. We're finally in the final stretch with the town hall project. Within 6 months of ribbon cutting to open the doors after 2 years of a lot of hard work, a lot of effort on the part of many, some of which are in the room tonight. I'd like to introduce Ken Murphy, if I could. Ken Murphy is a project manager and then some, representing CIRSA, and who will be involved in this project extensively. Take a bow.
Really, my position in this whole thing is really as a go-between between the contractor and the board and the public. I've been a general contractor here in this area for over 38 years. I taught construction in this area for over 15 years. My credentials are fairly substantial, but really CIRSA, who's really paying the majority of this bill, is paying my fee. In other words, that does not come out of your construction fee. It's really gravy to you. My position is to keep an eye on the project, report back to the board in your monthly meetings or bi-monthly meetings, and just let them know and let them be aware of how the project's going, whether it's on schedule, those kinds of things, and to answer any questions that the board may have with the contractor. I'm going to work directly with the general contractor. And I've worked a lot with this gentleman, right?
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Without further ado, and don't want to steal the thunder, I'm gonna hand this over to Rob Seaver, who can proceed to detail the process that we've been through that brought us thus far.
First of all, has everyone on the board received the contract? Yes. Should have come through last Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there. Not getting into 2 years of history, but obviously just to recap the last month or two. February 27th, project was released for bid. We had 9 general contractors look at this, and we had 7 bids received. In the previous meeting, we kind of went over the spread. It was $693,000 to $1.1 million. The 3 low bidders were within 1% of each other. Actually, I misquoted that. 684 to 693 were the 3 lows. Very tight. Basically, the 2 high bidders were, one was from Pueblo, one was from Denver. So it kind of reflects windshield time. The bids came in on, what was it, March 28th, which is pretty much the exact schedule that we presented in December. And over the last 2 weeks at the board's direction, Rob MacArthur, myself, and Matt Probb have negotiated with Ed Green Construction, who is the negotiated low at this point, to come up with a contract and get moving on the project. And I'll just take a quick, I'd like you guys to stand up. Rob and Josh Green are the contractor when we put a face to this. And we brought in all these people here just to say that it's going to take a team of people to build a building. We've had a team thus far from a design standpoint. I'm representing my engineering team. But certainly we're going to pass the time here a little bit to general contractor, and these folks represent a number of subcontractors, many of whom are from this part of the county. I would say local, but western El Paso County and Teller. That was one of the criteria here is that we have as much as we can local-based contractors, suppliers on this project. Ed Green Construction comes highly recommended. It's a 4th-generation family business. These 2 guys really kind of coalesce with us as we've met with them. We met with some of the other low bidders as well. Interview. We're pleased with what they bring to the table here. They have a lot of experience in similar type projects and come highly recommended through El Paso County. You guys have done quite a bit of work with them, and they've really touted you fairly well. That's both in all realms, is personality, but keeping on budget, on schedule, all those important things that we're looking for here. The contract itself has been revised, I'd say 4 times, Matt, between the 2 of us. My part of this was making sure that we were in budget. The revised amount at this point is $506,000 and some change here. That does represent a number of deducts that were built in the bid to get us into budget. We went over those in the last meeting as well. Chiefly, the biggest deduct is the site work, which represents the town's in-kind donation. This is basically a requirement of DOLA that in exchange for the roughly $500,000 that they've given us, that we do have a match. So that was taken out of their contract, and basically the town direct will work on the excavation. That's for the road, the building excavation itself, parking lot, things of that nature. Green will have the rest of this, which is septic, all the rest of the site work that's involved, as well as all the building trades to get this thing done. And as Rob said, the time frame we're looking at, if we're looking starting today, it's about September 15th, 5 months. Contract has built in a few weeks of float here for weather and other delays that could occur that are beyond our control. So technically in the contract, if you look carefully, it says September 30th is a completion date. Certainly if there are issues, we're going to have a high level of communication. I will be working with Ken on this. Ken's going to be, like you said, representing CERS's interest in this project. Certainly I am the architect of record on this thing, so I'm going to be involved in terms of my baby here. So what else can I say? rest of what the attorney and I have done is pretty much the other terms of the contract. We have gone through a number of sections and tweaked some things just in terms of how change orders work, schedules in terms of submitting bills and things like that. We had to look at how the town gets reimbursed on this project. Obviously, we have CERSA providing funding, DOLA, or the state of Colorado, and the very specific reporting requirements that the state has, and as well the building department, and then miscellaneous donations as well. So we want to be accountable and have enough time to go through all this stuff. Whoever the town representative is, myself and Ken will have to work through these bills to make sure that we're being that we are being transparent enough here, that we're making sure everyone is being paid properly on the other side of this thing. So we don't want any delays due to that. That's the chief part of the contract that we've looked at, is just how the timing of these things work. Other than that, I don't know that, I mean, there's maybe minutia detail here, but, because it's a 17-page contract. There's also a contract with land plumbing and excavation that represents, and that town public works is, with Rob's departure, we needed to fill that gap, so that's why land is doing the town's piece, so to speak. And that comes out of the town public works budget, which is the way that was originally structured anyway. So that's the only change fundamentally that's occurred. Question?
Well, you said Rob's departure, and I'm sorry, I did not know that has not been brought up to the board of trustees, so that was news. That's news to me at least. So.
Rob, do you want to speak to that?
We'll be addressing that later on. The 50,000 was set in the budget for the in-kind portion of this, and land construction has met the requirements of that, and that contract has been put forward to you for review, and we'll be asking the board to go ahead and proceed with signature of the two contracts at this point.
That's pretty much my piece here at this point. If you have questions on the contract, we can certainly answer those at this point in time. I can tell you we've gone through it extensively, both Matt and myself, so I'm pretty happy with your legal response on this.
Board, you guys have comments or questions, Mr. Seaver? I have something. When you said, you mentioned that the contract had been revamped and revised again with the scheduling on the monies. Has that been since you sent it out to the board last Thursday?
No, this was all done prior to it being submitted. The copy you have is the final, what we are collectively comfortable with, not just Matt, myself, and the contractors.
Okay. Anyone else? Trustee McCarthy?
No comments.
Trustee Eden? Satisfied. Trustee Peterson? Trustee Stevens? Trustee Patron? And sir, Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not dad to these guys?
No.
Okay.
Mark Lamb plumbing.
Mark, you look the same as you did in high school.
As do we.
I know.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other comments there? Mr. McCarthy?
So it's upon the board now to go ahead. There's a resolution before you. We'll do the standard motion second, and then proceed to approve the contract, put the signatures in place, have them notarized, and then we have a start date and we're off and running.
And just so the board is clear, the reason there is a resolution here is mostly to make your clerk's life a little easier. The board could simply adopt these contracts by motion based on the changing of the guard that it's happening, I thought it best to make sure that we have a really clear record, especially within this meeting, that there would be two, minorly different or majorly different boards, depending on how you look at it. So I apologize that you did not have this earlier to review, but after speaking with the senior partner at our firm, we discussed that it would probably be best to have something that made the record very clear. So if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer those as well.
Anyone?
Hearing no questions, I would move to approve adopt the resolution, number 2014-04.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No.
No,
One no.
don't know.
One no.
Mayor?
Yeah.
That was your no?
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Item number 4,
No, we got it, the signatures, we're gonna go through
Go through the signature.
the signature with the participants.
okay, I will do that later. We're moving on.
No, that's good, it's done now.
We're moving on.
No,
No.
this is not part of it.
No,
This is signature.
It'll be very quick. I think they had everything ready for you.
Okay, well, I would like to be able to look over that before I put my
It's
signature
been
on.
voted on, it's been voted on.
And it was, you got it last
This is
week.
the contract.
Yeah, Mayor, it's part of the resolution.
It just had a nice pretty blue. It's the same exact picture.
Okay, and I will do that. Can I do that during break then?
No, we need to have that done
They-
now.
they-
They're here to sign it.
And you guys are leaving now, that's my understanding. After-
happy if you read it, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So I will read this.
So
and
can we
then I
have a
will sign it.
recess so that we have time to do that now, so that we can revert
It's done.
back into your
It's been
Okay,
voted on and
excuse
signed.
me,
Right now.
excuse me. I don't have to sign this right this moment.
Well, then give it to James.
Madam Mayor, it's part of the resolution that you signed. We
The
just passed the
resolution,
Why are you signing it on?
We will be signing
it will
There's
be,
4, you have
it
4
will be
days to look at
signed. It will be signed. Okay,
it. No, then sign it.
I'm not
Can we
signing
have,
it right
can we have
this
a recess?
No, yeah,
We don't have to check it, it's done.
so,
We get the signature.
okay, let's move on to this.
I'm
And then
I'm sorry,
we'll
I'll find that on
do
this.
That's just, I
It's-
don't understand
This
the
is the
reason.
resolution, is to sign the contract. We
No.
The resolution, excuse me, the resolution that I just saw when I sat down at my seat tonight. Okay, the resolution previously said where the town attorney to work with Mr. MacArthur and staff to come up with a contract for review this evening. Okay, the signing of this is something that I haven't
I
looked
call a
at.
motion for recess.
I'll
You
send it.
don't have to be forced to sign something,
Okay, I'll
that's called duress, when they force you to sign something.
Okay.
Motion and a second, there's a motion and a second on the table. Call for the vote.
Okay, so there's a recess, I guess.
All those in favor?
All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No. Okay. So, we're gonna have a recess. Do you guys wanna take a look at the document as well?
No,
It's
sign.
not-
It's a,
It's not even a public document.
no, it's not till sign. We're in the middle of the procurement process. That's why this gets done.
It has been
Has-
presented.
Look, it does
No,
say-
it has not been signed. Just because it's been presented doesn't mean anything. It's gotta be signed. It's procurement. This is where we're at. No, this is the way county does it, the city does it, everybody does it.
That's presented before the law.
Well, it says here that we can have another representation.
Matt, can you chime in, please? The procedure?
Trustee
To clarify?
just actually made the comment that I was going to make, is that if the mayor has reservations about signing the board of trustees, this authorizes the board of trustees to direct the mayor or other town to sign the contract. The resolution's been approved, which approves the contract. Now, this is a ministerial act.
Let's not lose any more time, man. Let's have a mayor pro tem sign this. I don't even understand the fault of this. I don't even get it.
But to the extent that there's further discussion, I'd suggest that we end the recess and reconvene the public meeting.
Are we reconvened?
Are we recessing? I'm not sure what we do. Mayor, where did you need?
Yes, Mr. Crowell, please clarify why this has to be signed right this moment and not,
If we're
Later
gonna go
on.
back on the record, we need to restart the meeting.
okay,
So,
okay, so we're recessed from the public, or the recess here. So we're back in regular meeting at 7:25. So, okay, Mr. Cobb, can you explain why this has to be signed right this moment and not at
well,
the end of the meeting, or?
it's my understanding that right now, procedurally, the board has adopted this resolution, which authorizes the board to direct the mayor or another representative to sign these contracts. It also says that the contracts presented to the board have been approved and adopted by the board. So at this point, the signature is a ministerial act. So if the mayor has reservations of signing this document, the board of trustees can authorize someone else to on behalf of the town.
I believe it's a question of timing, not of if.
Right.
Is there any reason that it needs to be signed right now versus at the
Because
conclusion?
everybody's here. I think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of if.
It's just gonna be done.
We have to approve it.
If she refuses to sign it now,
She's not
Why-
refusing to sign it.
Yes, she is.
absolutely.
Right
she
now,
should
she
sign
says
it.
not.
I'm sorry, but that's just not good.
That's moving over the business.
I'm sorry,
No,
but
that's what it is.
people are here waiting to just, you might say, held up. What are you waiting for?
Usually things are signed at the end of the meeting, always.
This is a unique meeting, of a split meeting, new board members coming on. It's old business, so you wanna get it done under old business.
We just voted the resolution to say, sign it.
Okay, our people, have you guys even read this new resolution or seen it, obviously?
They're not gonna see it until after you sign it.
So resolutions are
Do you want me to read the resolution?
Yes,
I'll read the resolution,
thank you.
which we just voted and approved. So here's the resolution. Approving contracts between the town and Ed Green Construction Company and the town and Lamb Plumbing and Excavating. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, pursuant to Colorado statute and the town of Green Mountain Falls Municipal Code, is vested with the authority of administering the affairs of the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado. Whereas on February 22nd, 2012, a fire destroyed the Green Mountain Falls Town Hall. Whereas significant and diligent efforts to secure funding for the new town hall have been expended. Whereas a new town hall committee was established to facilitate the project of building the new town hall. Whereas on February 13th, 2014, the town purchased the real property on which to build the new town hall. Whereas on February 20th, 2014, a request for proposal, RFP, for general contractor bids was published. On March 21st, 2014, the RFP was closed, and as a result, 7 bids were returned by the deadline. Whereas the new town hall committee scrutinized the bids, interviewed the 2 lowest bidders several times, and called previous clients listed as references with exemplary responses. Whereas on March 28th, 2014, the new town hall committee presented its findings to the town board of trustees. Whereas the new town hall committee recommended Ed Green Construction be used as the general contractor for the new town hall project. Whereas the new town hall committee recommended Lamb Plumbing and Excavating be used as the gravel work contractor for the new town hall project. And whereas the board of trustees held a special meeting on March 28th, 2014, and adopted resolution 2014-03, which directed town staff, including the town attorney, to coordinate with the contractors to bring a contract to the board of trustees for review at the April 15th, 2014 regular meeting. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado as follows. Number one, the contract presented to the Board of Trustees between the town and Ed Green Construction Company as the general contractor is hereby adopted, and copy is attached to this resolution. Number two, the contract presented to the Board of Trustees between the town and Lamb Plumbing and Excavating Inc. as a gravel work contractor is hereby adopted, and a copy is attached to the resolution. Number three, the Board of Trustees authorize and directs the mayor or other town representative to sign the contracts between Ed Green Construction Company as the general contractor and Lamb Plumbing and Excavating Inc. as the gravel work contractor. Number four, the Board of Trustees further directs town staff to continue to work with Ed Green Construction Company, Lamb Plumbing and Excavating Inc., Ken Murphy, and Robert Seaver to complete construction of the new town hall, introduced, resolved, and passed at a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Green Mountain Falls on this 15th day of April, 2014.
Well, it sounds to me like the most simple option is to, if the board wishes, make a motion to authorize an alternate representative to sign on behalf of the town, as provided for in the resolution. In the event that the mayor refuses or wishes not to sign the contracts prior to the swearing in as the newly elected officials.
I move that we authorize the mayor pro tem to sign in the mayor's stead.
Second.
I was going to speak, trustee Petrone.
Beg your pardon?
I was going to speak.
Too late now.
I have, we have gone through this throughout my tenure in the last 2 years with putting my signature on items that I did not agree with. I have had many conversations with our town attorney saying that when I sign a document, I am simply signing on behalf as my duty as mayor. It does not mean that I agree with it or anything like that. I do not, I think that this is rushed. As you guys know very clearly, we're having a new board sworn in just a little bit. So your board of trustees that you will be working with is going to be changing. And that's part of my hesitation in wanting to sign this. Not that you guys would change, but it just seems very rushed to me. But I will sign this as a representative of our town. And I look forward to working with all of you guys. However, I really wish this was under the new business of the board and not the old business of the board, since the new people are going to be the ones carrying it out from here on out. So, trustee Petrone, I will put my signature on this.
So the minute you sign it, I'll withdraw the motion.
The resolution and the contracts as well.
And this is very different too, because normally we sign things at the end of the meeting, so it's like totally different. Mr. Green needs to sign that as well. And you, Ross. Here's that resolution.
Yeah. So, yes, I want to. Okay, thank you all for your patience as we have this sign tonight. We're moving on.
I'll withdraw my previous votes.
Okay. We're moving on, so thank you, and thank you again, contractors, for all you're doing for our town. And we look forward to having the town hall and moving forward. So thank you, and Mike, thank you again. Okay, so item number 4, contractual matter regarding former town employee conference with our town attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402 4B. Mr. Cobb, I guess you have the floor, sir.
Just read the call for an executive session.
This is a call for executive session.
Executive session this evening.
That's what Joe, the
Okay.
church has said you go right next door. So no one has to leave if you get your vote, you can go right there.
Okay, so we leave.
Yeah, we can leave. That's what we just read.
Oh, we're moving on.
We're gonna go, okay.
Okay, motion on the floor.
Second.
Okay. Okay, discussions? Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 2 nays, 1 aye. Okay, so we're going to go into the other room. Quickly, and then come back. So.
Probably one of the reasons that we left.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I just think, oh my gosh. Let's move on. And I appreciate your patience as we talk with our attorney. Over the matter. Item number 5, consent agenda. Approve the Board of Trustees minutes for 3/18/14 and special meeting for 3/28/14. Bills run 3/14/4/11 for $173,837.76. And accept the planning commission minutes of 4/18/14 into the record. Oh, I probably need to say the time that we came back in.
I put 8:35, is that right? 8:19. 8:19, I'm late.
Yeah.
Okay. 8:20.
Okay, are there any items in the consent agenda that need to be pulled out for further review? Okay,
Move to approve.
Second.
okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
Okay. Item number 6, public hearing. At this time, we will move into a public hearing for the special use request to operate a property as a vacation rental by owner. That is at 7220 Catamount Street, David Shekel. Property owner and property manager is Judy Sutton. So at this time, we are in the public hearing. It is 8:21. And we'll hear from anyone in the audience that has any comments about this at all. Okay, Chris, would you please share findings?
Yes, 11 letters of informational packets had gone out to property owners within 100 feet of the property boundaries. To date, 7 have been returned, all commenting they are in favor of the Board of Trustees granting a special use for this property. And the planning commission held their public hearing on the 8th of April, and they have findings and recommendations for the Board of Trustees.
Thank you. There are no further comments from the audience at this time. This public hearing is now closed, and then we'll share the findings, correct? Yes. Okay, so this public hearing is closed at 8:23. Class is there. And board members, we have received the copies of the planning commission findings. The following findings were discussed and agreed on, and I'll just read these. The petition conforms to the requirements of the zoning ordinances. The use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive master plan. Neighboring land uses are compatible with the contemplated use. The use will not result in an oversensitive use of the land. The use will not result in undue traffic congestion or traffic hazards. 7 neighbors responded that they are in favor of granting a special use. The use will not be unreasonably detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare, and the town will receive an increase in lodging and sales tax revenue. Okay, are there any comments or concerns from the board?
Okay, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Move approval with concurrence of the planning commission's findings.
Second? A second. Second. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, very good. Is Ms. Sutton here or Mr. Sutton here? You are? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We like the RPOs. Very good. Okay. Okay, at this time, we will have the oath of office and the seating of newly.
I'm sorry, I have a question that I want this, because this is something I need to ask for public record, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time to stay here for public input. It's become very apparent that, there's been a meeting with El Paso County Maintenance to possibly take over our town maintenance, and, to the point that the meeting was called. I don't know if Sally Clark was involved actually in the meeting, but the meeting was called. And they've been up here at least twice kicking the tires in our maintenance yard and looking around. And I really, really, really would like to know if anybody knows what's going on and why that's happening.
I'd like to know the same thing. I've heard similar reports. It is a huge impact on our PPRTA if the county took over. And really, when you mess with the roads budget, you can damage that money that comes from PPRTA. And that money can go away.
So I'm just asking, does anybody know anything
About that.
you know?
So there's,
Because basically,
because
and that's fine, and I'm fine with that. I just want it for public record because
it's,
in the future, if something happens, we want to be able to say, we asked,
yeah,
you
it's,
know, by
come up
doing
several
our,
times
by
from
doing
the
our
county.
due diligence and, you know, there's no involvement with the current board. And personally, I am very concerned with the fact, not the fact, with the possibility of county taking over maintenance in the town, for a number of reasons. Because one, it's not up to the county to make that decision, it's up to this town and this board, or the new board, as it may be. So, you know, if there's county involvement, at this point, there shouldn't be, because nothing's happened at the board level, and it's the town of Green Mountain Falls. And you guys have got to admit, nobody has to park at the bottom of their roads anymore.
the parks are maintained.
The parks are good,
People
the
maintain.
roads don't run out and wash away as much as they used to years ago. You know, it's just a big, big concern because of just a lot of things, but it's also, it's a concern that I have because that's a decision that needs to be made at a town municipal level, not at a county level. If it goes on to the county, that's fine. If that's what the municipality chooses, but it needs to be everybody's decision. And I just wanna make sure for public record that that's out there because there's some concerns.
There's,
And if it's just through the grapevine, cause, okay, you know my mom. I'm an expert at listening to the grapevine. I just wanna make sure that going forward, you know,
I've
we're
heard
on
similar
track.
reports that indeed
So,
the county has been taking inventory and,
Where'd you
and
get
that's what I
these
meant by kicking the
reports?
tires.
Where'd you get
You
these
know.
reports?
county.
The county's talking to you?
You know, I do know, I'm not gonna say anymore. I know people who
You
work.
don't need to,
in
what's
many
the
different
thing, we're not gonna reveal the sources, what is that, which is that?
Okay.
But just
Good enough.
for record, just going forward, because that really needs to be a municipal decision,
Okay,
And a
So-
serious decision.
so,
okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. So Chris, at this time, the oath of office for the new, to administer that, please?
Okay.
Excuse me. I think it's appropriate to make a comment about all the hard work that the board members who are leaving have done for the town Greenmount Falls.
Now,
In particular,
yes.
Mac Petroleum has donated thousands of dollars worth of services and probably supplies, and you're letting these people walk out the door without saying anything to them?
No, just,
So has Ralph Casio given a lot to this town.
Okay. Okay,
I don't hear anything.
I would like to
You
ask
know
we're
what?
all,
It's probably too late to say anything now.
okay. I hope that you will
so, what have a little present for the new coming members? I made it a point to really pay attention and to do my homework. And there are protocols, there are ethics, there are a lot of things we have to do, and this is just a copy of a little pamphlet that I made for myself to keep up with it. And obviously, if you guys don't like this, or if you want to change it, do it, but please be cognizant of the protocols
Thank you, Margaret.
that are in place.
And Margaret, also, this is a welcome and a farewell, and the cake is the thank you and everything, so I hope that we would all stay.
Plus, I want everyone to know that now there's gonna be a Peterson in the town hall again, because my dad's nameplate got burnt in the town fire.
Margaret, would
So-
you please stay, Margaret, would you please stay with some cake and enjoy talking with everyone?
Well, I will, I'll be
Okay,
happy to, but
so-
it just seems kind of strange that,
Well,
it's just the timing seems good, so.
you can sit right there by my hand, right here. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
How would you like to take your vote first, or
Why don't we,
the board members?
yeah, okay, that'd be good.
I think everybody sees their
Board members.
name head.
We can take pictures. Hannah, would you take pictures too? So I didn't even. I thought you were someone. Who was that back there? I know, it's like, oh, that's awesome. Can you take pictures? Are we missing Price? Trustee Price? And Lacasia left? Where's Lacasia? Oh, Trustee Lacasia.
What would you ask?
Okay.
One at a time.
Oh, you know what, it's a lot nicer.
Sounds good.
So we're gonna do alphabetical. Okay, so if Michael, take pictures with us, you have your oath, and raise your right hand and recite.
I, Michael Butts, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Green Mountain Falls, and faithfully perform the duties of the office of trustee upon which I am about to
I, David Cook, do solemnly swear by the everlasting God that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Colorado and the ordinance of the town of Green Mountain Falls, and faithfully perform the duties of the office of the trustee upon which I am about to enter.
Judge Quinn?
I, Christopher Quinn, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Green Mountain Falls, faithfully perform these duties for the office of trustee of which I am about to enter.
Yes. Test. Oh, wait, that's right. David said you probably should have waited for that later. If you'll fill that out, David, that'll be good. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I, Lori Worthy, do solemnly swear by the ever-living God that I will support the Constitution of the United States and
and of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Green Mountain Falls, and faithfully perform the duties of the office of mayor, which I'm about to enter. So we just signs and then I'll just take that. That's really. Okay, is that this time the reception? Yes, so we have cake and punch and coffee and just mingle and talk.
Who said a time?
Yeah, let's reconvene in about 15 minutes, is that good? 5, 10, 15? Until 9? Let's reconvene right now and get on with our meeting here. So the time is 8:52. 8:52, so,
And I've been informed that prior to moving on to item 9, that interim town manager Rob Carter had to leave to go home with his wife, who I guess was in the hospital earlier today. So he is not there.
and also we are missing trustee Lucasio. Does anyone know where trustee Lucasio went to? No, where he is? He left. And his name tag, is that out? Do you guys have your own name tag?
Yeah.
This is nice,
Good.
it's all,
You bet.
that's all already.
Okay, good.
So please make note that trustee Lucasio is not here right now, so. And, trustee, I know, we need to see, but yeah, y'all help me out here, so I'll just remember for a little bit. Okay, she's there. Okay, trustee Cook had mentioned moving the, UPass elementary application for the pony run up, you guys, since they've been waiting a little bit. So, is that okay with
Yes.
everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so board, you received, the special event permit application. And, Joanna's here along with Principal Briggs Hale. And would you guys like to say anything or? And welcome to your
All right.
daughter too.
Yes, this is
Yes, in
Delaney.
the audience, or
She's our
Yes.
school representative.
yes.
And just so you know, Delaney hung out and stood in here all night long, so she's been out there.
Yay.
That's
Yes,
it,
high five.
that's it. So we are here to ask for your consideration of our application for a permit for our pony run. Our pony run is on May 10th in the morning, and it is a tradition. And it is a wonderful fundraiser for our school. We are raising money to build an outdoor classroom so we can get kids outside. It's that new thing called outdoors that gets us unplugged and out into the world and connected to nature. So that's something we're raising money for. And the pony run, we're hoping for up to 200 runners this year. That's our goal. Joanna Barco here has been working tirelessly with Matt Rogge to organize this race, and we are asking for your consideration of our permit, which would be to use some of the roads and trails here in Green Mountain Falls. And have I forgotten anything? I don't think so. Okay.
It's the same setup we did last year, the trail from the school, then we cut off onto the road for a block on Butte Avenue, and then we take a right onto East El Paso, go around that back road, and then that's the turnaround for the 5K. And it's the same we've been doing for 19 years, I think.
Yeah, 19 years.
So,
Yeah. So we respectfully ask for your consideration of that permit.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Trustees, any comments about that?
One question on the permit fee. What did we charge you last year?
it was $500, and Mr. Price paid for it.
Correct.
And we do need police for, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because there is partial road closures.
Yeah.
And last year we had commercial, so.
This year, I'm making arrangements with the El Paso County Sheriff. to be there.
You've already taken care of that?
Yes, I'm working on
Okay.
In light of him taking care of the security, I would move that we waive the fee. And they're working towards a pretty good project.
Is that a motion to approve?
That'd be a motion.
Motion to approve the permit.
Second.
Okay, any further discussions, guys?
So we're approving it, we're approving two things, doing it and
I need those minutes, because I don't think they're in that whole file.
Okay.
$500.
They paid $500.
They do.
I sent all the minutes to Principal Ray,
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Well, trustee Price isn't here right now, but.
$20.
That's
Oh, there's no.
$500.
There's probably a lot of kidding about 500.
There probably was.
You said 500, I said, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dick probably paid that
For $20.
because he's been paying that. Okay, that was 12. 11 was $1.
Okay.
All right.
Huge
Way up.
We had the new members scared to death.
I was willing to waive 500, I'm willing to waive 20.
They file.
Okay. So there's a motion to approve the pony run for May 10th and waive the fee. Right? Okay? There, no further discussion. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Good.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very
Thank you,
much. I really
guys.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And I would love to participate in this.
We'll get you the
Yeah.
information.
Yes,
Yes, wonderful.
please, I would love to do that as well. I know I was going to one year, but something happened.
Everybody, please feel
Yes.
welcome
Oh,
to come.
board, yes, see, this could be our first board activity.
You can try to beat Mr. Brees.
First time.
Which is not very hard.
The first time. Okay, the second thing real fast is, Miss Elizabeth Jordan is here from El Paso County. And she had something to, show us, you guys, and so in lieu of the time, I just thought maybe it'd be great if she could present that to us right now. So she can, yes.
Good evening. So I got to speak to some of you, but if I didn't get a chance to talk to you, I'd certainly love to have that opportunity. I'm the emergency manager for El Paso County. So when bad things happen, I usually get called to try to make sure that everyone stays safe. And with that idea in mind, we're thinking about the flash flooding and also, unfortunately, the wildfire season. They're almost one and the same, it seems like. Right now, as things dry out, we have more concerns about wildfires, but right around the corner, we'll have more flooding. So where we saw the flooding happen last year, anybody remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that was actually in September timeframe, right? So it's real easy for us to say, yeah, don't have to worry about flooding right now. However, we've seen a lot of that white stuff, and it's up there in the mountains. And as it starts to melt and make its way down, we could still have some flood concerns. So what I've done is I've brought some information. This is about when to evacuate. And when we're talking about flooding, we always tell you to look for higher ground to stay safe and not necessarily to evacuate out. So you'll always have information and warnings regarding that. But if you're thinking about a wildfire situation, this is the ready, set, go. And it's very clear and it explains what you need to know to stay safe. The one thing that I really want to impress upon you, and I will be making sure we have representation at your town hall, I think that's coming up on the 22nd.
22nd, community meeting just to keep people informed of
Yes,
the latest
elementary,
developments
right?
in flood mitigation and planning.
But opportunity not tonight, so I was just trying to
me
keep
check.
this short. What,
6,
6
great.
to 7:30.
Great, thank you.
6 p.m. to 7:30.
6 to 7:30.
We work together, it's a good thing.
All right.
I just wanted to hand these out, and I do have more in my car, so that, you know, if everyone would take this information and take it seriously. If you see a large plume of smoke, don't wait for us to knock on the door for you to take action, okay? Okay. So thank you, and I'll hand these out, and I have a long way home, but it's been wonderful being a part of your meeting this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Liz. Thank you very much. So just to reiterate, that meeting is Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 22nd.
At 6 o'clock
At
at
6
UPass
o'clock.
Elementary School.
At
And
UPass.
representatives from El Paso County and other agencies will be there.
Okay, and I will help get the word out
Great,
here
thank you.
to our people.
Thanks for the use of trees.
Yes, I'm glad you enjoyed the cake. And
That's
Liz,
right.
if we have any extras, we can put them at the post office. That's always a good place.
Okay.
To put extras, so if you have more, I can just put them there. Know what's left over. Okay, thank you. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, board. Okay, item number 8. The biennial post-election municipal appointments, resolutions, proclamations, procedures, and policy. Action item, Mayor Worthy. So we have some resolutions here. Pass out to the board, but just take one and pass it down, I guess. Copy as well. I do have. We need some copies for the audience. Chris, maybe we can make a few. Here's some for the audience too.
Lori, has the town attorney got any of this?
No. Okay, no.
Okay, I'll
so-
share that.
Yeah, there's one. Okay, here's this. Mr. Bratton, would you like to see this? This is resolution 2405.
Might be easier if you don't mind reading them.
Yes.
The whole public.
Yes. I move that the Board of Trustees approves resolution 24-1405, which reads as following. A resolution reasserting the authority of the Board of Trustees with regard to the town of Green Mountain Falls, and I'll stand up. Whereas the Board of Trustees deems there is a lack of understanding as to the roles and responsibilities of the Board of Trustees. And whereas all of the duties and responsibilities of the town Board of Trustees are defined in Article 2, Section 2-21 of the Town Municipal Code, provisions of our municipal code are not commonly known by the general public, local residents, staff, and others. Whereas the title Town Trustee, which is Board of Trustee, is common, it may not be recognized by some as a member of the governing body of the municipality and similar to city town council member. And whereas over time, some responsibilities, duties, and authorities have been delegated to or assumed by others, and this Board of Trustees wishes to reestablish the Town of Green Mountain Falls Board of Trustees as the governing body for the municipality. And whereas the Town Board of Trustees wishes to reassert its authority over the municipal government for ease of communication, coordination, efficiency, and effectiveness. Now therefore, may it be resolved by the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, that the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, 1, reaffirms the Board of Trustees job description dated May 2007, and authorizes the discontinuation of all prior delegated authorities to committees, individuals, positions, other bodies, and require a new request and justification for delegated authorities by any who wish to act on behalf of the Board of Trustees. And 3, authorizes trustee liaisons work with the head of the town government, town departments to ensure access to records, data, facilities, and vehicles for archival, inventory, and review, and any other appropriate purpose. And 4, respectfully requests department heads to provide the Board of Trustees with updates on each of their departments at the next regular scheduled Board of Trustees meeting, which shall include A, the status of the year-to-date budget, B, departmental goals and projects for 2014, C, staffing including job descriptions, hours worked, tenure compensation and benefits, D, departmental unmet needs, and 5, reasserts the Board of Trustees' exclusive authority to hire and terminate employees. And 6, reestablishes the Board of Trustees' exclusive authority to enter into any contract, agreement, or negotiation. And 7, additionally, in the future, the Board of Trustees may delegate any partial or entire duty or authority as they may see fit. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the Mayor and Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
I second that motion.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public at this time?
Yes.
Yes. Please stand and
Willie
state.
Alexander, 10845 Myrtle. As a planning commission member, how will this affect the planning commission as we don't act on your behalf? Rather, we're an advisory committee.
It should have no effect.
Thank you.
As an ordinance.
Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying
Board.
aye.
Prior to you passing this, I just want to make sure that the record is very clear that the town attorney has not reviewed this, that this was not drafted by the town attorney, and that I don't have any comment on it at this time.
Yes.
Gail here at 1180 Pine Ridge Road, Woodland Park. You adopting this resolution because why?
As we are reasserting the authority of the Board of Trustees for the town of Green
And
Mountain
how
Falls.
is it any different than before?
Because some of the authority of the Board of Trustees has been taken away over the last 2 years in particular.
In relationship to what ordinance or what?
Well, would you like to read this because it states it very clearly?
Well, I listened to you.
Okay.
I'm saying, how is what you read different than prior resolutions? I mean, you say it changed, I'm asking you how.
Right. Well, the job description dated May 2007, first off. Going back to liaison, system of government. And again, if you wanted to read this, you can.
But I don't think you answered my question. The previous trustees were also liaisons that were doing X amount of work for the town. How is your resolution different than what has transpired the last 2 years?
Well, and Trustee Stevens, you can chime in anytime too. But with the idea of the town manager job description, that when the trustee liaison sort of.
But in additionally, this just reaffirms the board's authority over the town. That's really the essence of this
again,
resolution.
Why is this
Reaffirming.
resolution any different than what is in existence now?
It's reaffirming, it's not changing.
I see.
It's making a statement, it's a resolution reaffirming those authorities.
Thank you.
So there's a motion, and a second. No further comment. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so this passes.
Madam Mayor, at this time, I move approval of resolution 2014-06, resolution reasserting the authority of the mayor of the town of Green Mountain Falls. I'll proceed with the reading of the resolution. Whereas the Board of Trustees deems there's a lack of understanding as to the roles and responsibilities of the mayor of the town of Green Mountain Falls, and whereas although the duties and responsibilities of the mayor are defined in Colorado Revised Statute 31-4-301 and in Section 2, or excuse me, Article 2, Section 2-22 of the Town Municipal Code, provisions of our municipal code are not commonly known by the general public, local residents, staff, and others. Whereas the title mayor is a common within our shared vernacular, it may not be commonly understood as to what the roles and responsibilities of the mayor of Green Mountain Falls should be. And whereas over time, responsibilities, duties, and authorities have been delegated or assumed by others, and this Board of Trustees wishes to reestablish the mayor of Green Mountain Falls as the leader of the Board of Trustees, the chief executive officer, and the ceremonial figurehead of the municipality. And whereas the town board of trustees wishes to restore all authority and responsibilities to the position of mayor as desired, as described by state statute and further delineated through municipal ordinance for better communication, clarity, coordination, efficiency, and effectiveness. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls that the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, reasserts the mayor's responsibilities, duties, and functions, and the mayor shall be the executive head of the town and shall prescribe at all meetings of the Board of Trustees and be authorized to prescribe, implement, and enforce meeting protocol, including presenter parameters, room layout, seating, removal of individuals from public, staff, and trustees from the building upon the mayor's determination that they are not respectful and/or acting inappropriately, along with any other matters that facilitate the mayor's ability to preside over the meetings, and shall have the same voting power as any member of the Board of Trustees. And the mayor shall be the spokesperson for the town, including authority over all public statements by volunteers, employees, contractors, regarding issues related to the town of Green Mountain Falls. And while the Board of Trustees may deliberate issues, once an issue is resolved by the affirmative vote of the Board of Trustees, the mayor shall represent that point of view regardless of their personal view. Additionally, individual trustees may wish to express reasons for the negative vote, but are expected to support and carry out the affirmative action as described by the Board of Trustees. And the mayor and the mayor pro tem shall be provided means for access to all town facilities and assets to include keys, electronic usernames and passwords, and any other information devices or systems that may be required to utilize town property, and authorizes the mayor to make all committee and representative appointments. However, the Board of Trustees with a 2/3 affirmative vote may overturn any such appointment and replace the mayor's appointments with a selection of their own, and authorizes the mayor to have exclusive control and authority over the Board of Trustees agenda and any cancellation or rescheduling of meetings or special meetings as defined by section 2-28. However, the Board of Trustees with a 2/3 affirmative vote may overturn any agenda and replace the mayor's agenda with a meeting agenda of their own. And additionally, in the future, the Board of Trustees may remove any partial or entire duty or authority bestowed upon the mayor through a simple majority as they may see fit. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the mayor and the Board of Trustees of the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
I second that.
Okay. There's a motion and a second, trustee Cook. Is there any comment in the audience? Okay, thank you. Okay, no further discussion?
Mayor, before you pass it, I'll make it clear again that this is not provided to the town attorney. I've not reviewed it. There are provisions in here that I want to make clear that to the extent that this resolution attempts to change any of your ordinances, that we won't do that. Your ordinances will supersede that. If you want to change those, the board would need to adopt the ordinance. In particular, the setting of the agenda, I believe your town code provides that the town agenda would be done by the clerk, so that could be problematic. This is why you typically get sent these before the board adopts these, or at least considers them. So as long as the record reflects that the attorney did not draft this, that we have not reviewed this, and that the provisions in the code that were established by ordinance will not be superseded by this resolution.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's call for a vote. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And in order to facilitate our meetings and to provide common structure and standards for behavior, I will be generally following the summary provided by Green Mountain Falls meeting procedures that were dated 11/11/11. Furthermore, that these basic principles outlined within that document shall apply to all volunteers, staff, and elected officials. We do have copies of that document, and it'll also be posted on the Green Mountain Falls online if you wanted to see that document. Thank you. Document and meeting protocols 11/11/11. Okay. Resolutions. Moving on. Here, guys, take one and pass it down. Mr. Chris. Are these extra? These are the extras. Okay.
reading resolution 201407. I move the resolution appointing a town marshal be approved by the Board of Trustees to the town of Green Mountain Falls. Whereas the Board of Trustees deems there is a need for the municipal government to provide for the public welfare of the citizens of Green Mountain Falls, including public safety and law enforcement, and whereas the exclusive authority of the town of Green Mountain Falls Board of Trustees to hire and terminate employees is defined by Article 7, Section 287 and 288 of the Town Municipal Code. And whereas the town's municipal code requires the Board of Trustees to appoint a town marshal / police chief at its first regular meeting following each biennial election, Article 7, Section 2173. And whereas there does not exist any written long-term arrangement for law enforcement by outside agencies in place of our local law enforcement agency, and whereas two trustees conducted a meeting Monday, November 2013, with the town marshal, police chief Timothy Bradley, in the presence of the town attorney, and stated that they had the votes to pass a budget which would not have enough money in the budget for the employee's position, and offered a severance package in exchange for his resignation. And whereas the town board of trustees had hired and continued the employment of then Timothy Bradley without any disciplinary nor performance issues by the entire board of trustees, and he had left employment with the town in good standing, as demonstrated by the letter of recommendation signed individually by each member of the board of trustees. And whereas the public has expressed their desire for local law enforcement and their dismay at the denial of the service dog request made by our previous marshal, and whereas the Board of Trustees wishes to reinstate our local law enforcement presence, now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, that the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, number 1, appoints Timothy Bradley as the town marshal / police chief, and 2, authorizes Mayor Worthy to negotiate the rehiring of Timothy Bradley as chief of police / town marshal for the town of Green Mountain Falls, within the budgetary constraints of the current approved 2014 budget. And 3, reinstates Marshal's Department policy regarding 590 regarding police service dog maintenance. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the Mayor and the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
Second.
Any comments? Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay, let's call for a vote. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item number 8, is that you? Yeah, that's you.
I would make a motion for the board to approve resolution 2014-08, a resolution approving authorities of the trustee liaison for departments of the town of Green Mountain Falls and the Board of Trustees. Whereas the Board of Trustees is responsible for appointing specific positions and titles to carry out its responsibilities as the governing authority of the town of Green Mountain Falls, and whereas the duties and responsibilities of the town board of trustees are defined in Article 2, Section 2-21B of the town municipal code, and whereas the board of trustees, BOT, is responsible for specific municipal appointments and has historically additionally made trustee liaison appointments, and whereas the town board of trustees wishes to make appointments to carry out its responsibilities with respect to specific town departments and for better communication, coordination, efficiency, and effectiveness of the municipal government. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, that the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, 1, replaces all mention of town manager in the recently approved personnel policies with trustee department liaison, and 2, reaffirms the job descriptions of the trustee liaison as approved in 2007, and 3, further requests the trustee liaison to work with the department head to assess the current status of the department, assets, options, budget, goals, employees, policies, and procedures, and future needs. And 4, provides the trustee liaison the disciplinary authority to suspend any department head without pay for failure to cooperate in a professional manner and or timely manner with the requirements for immediate notification to the entire Board of Trustees and review and ultimate ratification or reversion of the action by the Board of Trustees. And 5, directs the trustee liaison to carry out specific assignments and projects on behalf of the board as they may relate to each department, relationship, or project. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the mayor and the Board of Trustees for the town of Greenmount Falls, Colorado.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Yes, Mr. Frank.
I'm a little troubled by allowing liaison trustee to suspend an employee. That should be reserved for the entire board. That's too much authority to give your trustee liaison. Sorry, that's how I see it. You might want to reconsider. Back that out and address that separately.
Right.
With maybe a follow-on resolution to be better defined. The problem we've had with trustee liaisons is they assume that they have supervisory authority over employees. The procedures for liaison that you referenced specifically prohibit them from giving direct orders to employees. So as long as you reference that.
Well, in that clause that you're referring to, section 4, it says that it provides the liaison the disciplinary authority to suspend any department head without pay for failure to cooperate with the requirement for immediate notification to the entire board for review and ultimate ratification or reversion of that decision. So it's a temporary thing until
I still think it's too much authority. The employee is going to look at the trustee and with great fear that they can be suspended by that trustee, even though you've got board approval for that action. So any suspension, firing, or discipline of an employee, it should be done by the entire board. Don't give that authority to one trustee.
Thank you. Linda, did you want to say something?
Well, I'm trying to think of a way to rectify that before we vote on.
I'd suggest you to drop number 4. And
It's already
address that,
defined in the
address
trustee
that in
liaison
future
system,
meeting.
so I would move to amend this, to remove that clause.
The whole clause?
Well, if it's outlined in the actual trustee liaison job description, then I think that is, there's no danger.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Just
it's
has
in
to
there.
be followed.
Yes, so
I
we
would-
want to, start following that. And, okay,
Thank you for the suggestion.
yes, thank you. So trustee Quinn has moved or.
I'd like to make a statement. I think this is a step backwards, and it's ignoring a lot of research that was done on the topic of town manager, and it also guarantees that there'll be a lack of continuity and information about the departments.
Thank you. So, do we want to scratch that? We want to just scratch that? Number 4? That's fine with me. Okay. So is there a motion to approve with the deletion of number 4 then?
I would make that motion.
Okay, in a second?
Second.
Okay, further discussion on that? Trustee Cook?
I would somehow see that, instead of totally eliminating it, that it is within there to reassert and redefine that the Board of Trustees has the ability to suspend if the liaison could bring forth the motion to suspend without pay to the board. And somehow make sure that we have language within the, all of the codes to certify that.
So trustee Stevens, you were doing the same thing. I was looking for that job description. The trustee job description, the liaison. The duties of the liaison says meet at least monthly with town employees for key project, be knowledgeable, communicate to the board status of departments, committees, or board of trustees approved projects. Identify, bring to the board of trustees any policy related to issues. It says investigate on behalf of the board complaints except for circumstances covered by town personnel policy or standard operation procedures, and discuss the situation with involved parties and provide a report and recommendation to the board of trustees. That would probably cover that, you think? Receive and respond to citizen inquiries, requests, complaints, compliments, except for circumstances covered by the town personnel policy or standard operation procedures. So again, this is probably just a little Band-Aid to bring us back up, you know, to where we were. And then we'll definitely look through these and get our town attorney's advice. So, just a motion to approve with the deletion of number 4.
And a second.
And a second. Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay. Resolution 2014-9. This goes to you guys. You're sort of the closest over here. I move that the Board of Trustees approves resolution 2014-09, which reads, a resolution appointing officers and other titles by the Board of Trustees of the Town of Green Mountain Falls. Whereas the Board of Trustees is responsible for appointing specific positions and titles to carry out responsibilities as the governing authority of the Town of Green Mountain Falls. And whereas the duties and responsibilities of the Town Board of Trustees are defined in Article 2, Section 2-21 of the Town Municipal Code. And whereas the Town Board of Trustees is responsible for specific municipal appointments and has historically additionally made other appointments. And whereas the Town Board of Trustees wishes to make the required and other appointments to carry out its responsibilities and for better communication, coordination, accountability, efficiency, and effectiveness of the municipal government. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado. Section 1, that the Board of Trustees for the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, 1, appoints trustee Tyler Stevens as mayor pro tem. 2, appoints Chris Frandita as town clerk and shall assume the duties of office with conditions as set forth in section 2-82 when they are proven to be met by the mayor or the department's trustee liaison and removing authorities specified by section 2-83E from the town clerk. And 3, appoints trustee Michael Butts as treasurer, section 2-21B, and authorizes the treasurer to carry out all duties related to town finances, treasury, budgets, and assets, including those described by section 2-83E, and to assign any specific bookkeeping, payroll analysis, budgetary tasks, and responsibilities that the treasurer sees fit to the town clerk accomplished with the treasurer's oversight. And 4, appoints Matthew Krob as the town attorney, section 284, and appoints John Bruce as town judge, section 2-123, and Doug Price as the alternate municipal town judge. And that the mayor of the Town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, appoints trustee Chris Quinn as the trustee liaison for the marshal and the police department, overseeing the town marshal police, and appoints herself as the trustee liaison for the judicial and town attorney department to oversee the municipal judge and the town attorney. And 3, appoints trustee Howard Price as a trustee liaison for community and business relations to coordinate the town's relationships with Bronte. 4, appoints trustee David Cook as the trustee liaison for the public works to oversee the public works director. And 5, appoints trustee Ralph Locascio as the trustee liaison for the parks to coordinate upkeep and support for the town parks, trails, and open spaces, and to coordinate all requests for activities through the Public Works trustee. And appoints Mayor Pro Tem Tyler Stevens as the trustee liaison for the administration department to oversee the town clerk. And appoints trustee Chris Quinn as a trustee liaison for community and business relations to coordinate the town's relationships with the chamber, Sally Bush, etc. Appoints Mayor Pro Tem Tyler Stevens to represent the town of Green Mountain Falls on the board of directors for the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, and herself as an alternate. And appoints Mayor Pro Tem Tyler Stevens to represent the town of Green Mountain Falls on the board of directors of the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority, and herself as alternate. And appoints Mayor Pro Tem Tyler Stevens to represent the town of Green Mountain Falls on the Community Development Advisory Board, and herself as alternate. And appoints trustee Chris Quinn to represent the town of Green Mountain Falls on the advisory board to commission of the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department, and herself as alternate. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the mayor and the board of trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
Second.
Again, any discussion?
Mayor,
Okay.
Mayor, I have a couple things.
Yes.
I greatly appreciate the reappointment as the town attorney. I would suggest that provision be amended to read that you appoint our firm as the town attorney, so that in the event that I'm unable to show up, another partner can show up, or also authorizes the rest of our firm to work on these matters. So an associate would be more cost beneficial for the board. You could do that, so I'm not locked in, you're the only person who can do it. And there's one other thing, if you just bear with me one moment, just on phrasing, so I don't have to do it again.
Okay. So, as you're looking, multitask, I don't know. Can I talk?
Certainly.
Okay, so it would say, the Crop Law Firm.
Crop law, it's crop law. I think it shows right on the
Agenda.
under 9.
Under 9.
Yeah, where it just says town attorney is crop law office LLC, and then dash me.
Okay.
Just so the record's clear.
Okay. Crop Law Office.
Yeah, and there's only one big law thing.
Okay.
Let's see. The issue that I'm seeing is, and this is why we like to review these, is that this resolution is trying to appoint members, and it needs to move. Just the language reads right now that the mayor appoints all these, and the board of trustees actually needs to appoint them. So I think it could be a simple fix as much as changed on page 2, instead of saying
It's two different sections.
that.
The first section is the board appointments, the second section is the mayoral appointments, which are the advisory.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I see that. That does make sense. Is this the last resolution you have? No?
No.
Okay, after the last one, I want to just clear up some
Right.
language stuff.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Comment? Yes.
Since there's the board appointed and the mayoral ones, the board appointed the Trails Committee members as well as the Sustainability, Economic Sustainability Committee members. Are those appointments reaffirmed with the sign as well?
Yeah,
I don't think we've
I
done
don't-
anything with those.
we
The
haven't
previous
done,
resolution would have revoked those.
yeah,
The resolution you just passed would have revoked that authority. So,
But I think it should be applied.
Reappoint.
I'll address that in the next meeting.
Would you mind reviewing, Tyler Stevens', responsibilities?
Yes, he's mayor pro tem, trustee liaison for administration, represents the town of Green Mountain Falls on the PPACG, PPRTA, the CDAB, which is the Community Development Advisory Board. Those are all down the hill.
And Public Works?
No.
Who's
That
the
is,
liaison for Public Works?
Trustee Cook.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to, okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
That's what the change.
that's what the change to the map, yeah,
Probably more
the
obvious.
crop. Okay. Here's our last resolution. Oops. You got it? We need one more?
No, it's not.
No? Okay. I move that the Board of Trustees approves resolution 2014-10, a resolution rescinding policy, job description, and ordinances relating to the position of town manager of the town of Green Mountain Falls. Whereas the citizens have initiated a referendum which will be voted on May 20th, 2014. And whereas the Board of Trustees has determined that there are many areas of current ordinances, policies, procedures, which would need modification to adequately provide clarity with respect to a newly developed town manager position. And whereas the Board of Trustees deems there was a lack of preparatory work and public process leading up to the adoption of the ordinance enacting the town manager position of the town of Green Mountain Falls. And whereas the Board of Trustees wishes to engage in a thorough exploration of the idea of adding a town manager position to the municipality. And whereas the town Board of Trustees wishes to revert the department head and liaison system temporarily until adequate preparations are in place, or permanently should the Board of Trustees determine a town manager or similar position is not appropriate for our municipality to achieve better communication, coordination, efficiency, public involvement, and effectiveness. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, that the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, 1, rescinds ordinance 03-2013, an ordinance establishing an appointment and the roles and responsibilities for a town manager for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, adopted January 7, 2014. And 2, removes all additional assignments and titles which have been directed to the Public Works Director, and particularly those which were assigned at the February 4, 2014 Board of Trustees meeting. And 3, will conduct a work session to discuss the history, feasibility, and the needs of a town manager position within the town of Green Mountain Falls. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the Mayor and the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado. Okay.
We ask the attorney about any opinion on this?
No, I don't know, I think is there a motion, a second?
Second.
A second, okay, any further discussion?
Again, I'm gonna caution the board again about, adopting a resolution that, well, adopting one, let alone 6, that, we're not reviewed by the attorney, we're not drafted by the attorney. And that again, a resolution cannot rescind an ordinance. So, with that in mind, our firm has not reviewed this. Our firm has not reviewed ramifications for trying to implement it this way. And I can tell you, right now, the ordinance is not rescinded, resolution is not rescinded.
Okay. Is there any other comment? Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, is this a final resolution?
Yes. Oh, there's one more.
I move approval of resolution 2014-11, resolution approving policies of the town of Green Mountain Falls. Whereas the Board of Trustees is responsible to establish policies and procedures to carry out its fiduciary responsibilities as the governing authority of the town of Green Mountain Falls. And whereas the citizens have elected the Board of Trustees to safeguard the public's assets, well-being of the community, and prudent use of taxpayer dollars. And whereas the town Board of Trustees wishes to establish policies, carry out its responsibilities, and for better communication, coordination, accountability, and efficiency, and effectiveness of municipal government. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls that the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado, one, approves and reaffirms the following policies effective immediately. Donation and solicitation policy drafted 1/16/2012, asset policy drafted 1/16/2012, take-home policy, take-home vehicle policy approved in 2005, spending control policy approved in 2005, facilities access, emergency access kit policy approved in 2005. Resolved this 15th day of April 2014 by the Mayor and the Board of Trustees for the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado.
Second, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Very good. Okay, those are resolutions, and, you know, there was a lot of those, and we wanted to get us to, like, put a Band-Aid over, what we needed to do to bring us back. This board realizes that there's a lot of work to do as we look into all of these policies, but that this helps get us back to where we were previous. Okay? Did you have?
Yeah, I just want to make it abundantly clear that I'm reiterating that the town attorney has cautioned the Board of Trustees that about adopting one, let alone 7 resolutions that are not at least reviewed, if not drafted by the town attorney. The conflicting provisions amongst the resolutions and ordinances are resolved in favor of the ordinances and not in favor of the resolutions. And that I guess I want to know if the board would like me to review these and try to make some sense of them,
That makes sense.
knowing that the board has already adopted them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I would
yes.
request more direction or a motion.
A motion to, or have our town attorney look through the resolutions that were just passed and provide recommendations to the board for our next meeting.
I make a motion, ask the town attorney to take a look at them, provide feedback on where we might have gone in the wrong direction, if you feel that way, and what we can do. The gist of the resolutions being what they are, what we need to do as far as fixing ordinances and policies.
Okay, the direction as far as where the board wants to go with its own. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I look
So
more
we
at
fix-
what a conflicting provision is
Okay.
between ordinances and resolutions. So I don't direct the board.
I realize
Our
that.
job is to advise you and to inform you what your options are, and second act is to make them happen. So
Thank you.
so to the extent that you're saying direct the board, we don't direct the board.
Choices, as you better put it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Provide choices.
Okay. There's a motion, a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion? Okay, All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cobb.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Okay, so we've taken care of number 9 already, board. So let's go down to public input. This is the time for the public to address the board. Please stand and state your name and your address. Yes. Okay.
I didn't say.
Well, that's okay, because this has gone back to our previous time, so, yes, Debbie.
Okay, Brad, 11190 Hondo Avenue, resident for 31 years. I'd like to applaud the board for these resolutions because they make a strong statement that it's the will of the board to follow the town ordinances and previous town policies that were approved by previous boards. My board's included, and I think it's really wonderful that you put a stop to what's happened the last 2 years, where the previous board and one certain employee did not follow the town ordinances and established town policies. So I applaud you for your action. Yes, the legal wording will be changed, but you're showing a strong will to put some sanity in how this government operates.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we have Gail.
1180 Pine Ridge Road was in park, and I guess I would make a contrary statement. Obviously, this board has already been together and worked hard on changing everything that has been established for 2 years. I actually, though, think it's an insult to the intelligence of the audience to stand up and act surprised when your intent was to get rid of Rob MacArthur, and you seem to think you've never heard about the possibility of him leaving. And I believe that one or all of you know about that contact with El Paso County, but it will not come to light right now.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Alexander.
Hi, Willie Alexander, 10845 Myrtle Street. Permission to address the audience with regards to a planning commission opening.
Yes, thank you. And yes, please come where you're on the
Okay.
camera.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, same as Ms. Jordan, I've lost half the audience. But the planning commission does have 2 openings, and as you know, the planning commission assists property owners with getting the board of trustees approval on projects that require building permit or other projects or activities that require following the rules and regulations of the Green Mountain Falls Code. Let's get number 1. I want to congratulate Trustee Cook, Trustee Quinn, and Trustee Butts on their election, and I want to congratulate Mayor Worthy on her re-election. Well done.
Thank you. And we
That was number
appreciate
1.
you too.
Okay.
It's the planning commission.
Can you throw out the criteria for joining the commission? Maybe not everybody else.
You have to be a bona fide elector and resident of the town of Green Mountain Falls. You can contact me off of, you can send me an email off of the
I'm not
contact
volunteering,
us.
I was
Well, anyone else, you can get a hold of me off of the contact us page
Right.
on the town website. I'll be here to the conclusion so you can talk to me. Okay. One last thing on the planning commission. We have resumed discussions. These are discussions that John Lowndes and previous planning commission members had started, I think, last year or before, regarding fire prevention. I think you got a letter from the foundation regarding the comprehensive plan with regards to fire prevention. And
I just have a thought. CWPP, is anybody doing that? Part of the town?
Hang on, let him finish.
Okay.
Please. Okay.
So we're doing that. Then I think Resolution 2014-06 answered my question. There are rules. And I guess my question to the board is the board of trustees accountable for their actions with regards to the Green Mountain Falls Municipal Code. And then the last question was at the March 18th, 2014 board meeting, the board permitted an employee to make a presentation regarding her on-the-job experience as well as her opinion of the board to the board. Will the Board of Trustees be extending that favor to other town employees? Thank you.
Can I ask you one more thing? The Firewise planning, are you guys attempting or thinking about strapping that on? Because as I understand it, the Firewise program is kind of not working right now.
What's the deal with the next one? You guys, it's on the agenda for the next meeting.
Cool.
Okay, are there any other public comments? Okay, item number 12, citizens.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is small in light of all the work that's been going on and everything, but just would like to congratulate you guys and welcome you. We've had a great relationship working with the town. I'm Larry McKnight. I'm the pastor of church here and your landlord. Just have had a great time working with you guys. Chris, I want to extend that and expect to extend it as we go forward. And the first act of good faith that you can do is come to our Easter egg hunt on Saturday. And the mayor has kicked it off. Would you be available to do it
Yes,
again?
it's on my calendar.
So we want to invite you to just do that. And it's a free community event. Our missions committee does have a donation-based lunch, but everything else is free. So when you drive by, we'll have bounce houses and pony rides and petting zoos and 10,000 Easter eggs. And we learned our lesson the first time to not let the 2 and 3-year-olds get run over by the 12 and 13.
Yeah.
We've got them all segmented out. Again, congratulations. We look forward to continuing to work with the town, and we look forward to seeing you at the Easter egg.
Thank you. And it's open to everybody.
Yeah,
Even if
absolutely.
you don't have children.
Yeah.
10 o'clock?
If you have no shame, you can actually hunt the eggs.
We can't. Do you have a match, like a golden egg, to where there's something?
No, we have a bunch of eggs with prizes.
Yeah, prizes though.
Okay, so it's 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock is registration time, yeah.
Okay.
10:30 is the first time for your little one. Laurel and I don't live anywhere near here, but I got driven. Are you guys gonna be starting up, or is the economic sustainability group gonna be starting doing meetings again? So I know they were on hiatus, and I was just wondering if that was something you guys were still interested in having.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility, and, yeah.
Try something private, that's this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, any other comments? Okay, citizens initiative petition and ordinance establishing a code of ethics regarding conflict of interest for elected officials and employees of the town of Green Mountain Falls, Colorado. And as you will recall, signatures were gathered. And Matt, are you reporting on this, Mr. Cobb?
I have reviewed this, so I can report to the board on this. For those of you who weren't here for the referendum process, this is similar to it, except the inverse of it. So referendum is when you have a board who passes something, usually a resolution or ordinance that the people disagree with, and it says, board, we disagree with you, please reconsider, and if not, then it goes to the voters. That issue, as I said earlier, is still on there, so the town manager issue is not dead, although if the board would like, it could certainly discuss options with you about that. The initiative is the inverse of that, which is where a citizen says, the board, I want you to do this, and here's what I would like, and goes his signatures on the petition and brings it before the board. It's my understanding that we have a sufficient petition on the initiative. So the board has options like it did with the referendum. One option is for the board to adopt the initiative as written and amend your code by adding this ordinance. Another option is for you to put it to a vote of the people. That vote would be at a special election held not less than 60 and no more than 150 days after the final date of petition sufficiency. So you're looking at another election. Congratulations. That's the date is to be set usually by the clerk between 60 days out, so no less than 60. So you have to go out at least 60 days and can't go
Today or
from the date of petition sufficiency.
So if I'm.
Could be, before we tell you, it could be back a little bit based on you didn't have an April 1st meeting, so this is really the first time. So I guarantee it's at least 15 days back, but
Verified on March 18th.
March 18th. And it would not, let's see, it was verified on the 18th, and although that is a meeting night, that would not have been presented to the board then, because you have to wait for a protest period to pass, and that protest period has passed now. So, congrats, you get another decision. Welcome to the board, good luck.
Mr. Kraft, so is reviewing one of these resolutions, is there a way to, which the reason for the resolution was to be able to pull that off, I think, by acquiescing to the reason for the recall, or not the recall, the referendum. So there's a referendum out there, and by taking away the town manager title and everything that goes along with that for the interim, is there a way to take that off of and not have an election? So are there steps that we can take?
So there's two separate things right now. I think maybe we're confusing. I will apologize to the board in that those of you who haven't been here for the last 2 years, this is a steep learning curve. So, and it certainly could be that I'm not explaining it correctly. There are two issues before the board right now. Well, there's three actually. Good news is that the old board is, there's nothing else after this that you will see again that you haven't seen. So right now you have all three citizen options, which are recall, two of those that have been coordinated with your referendum. Essentially the ordinance creating the position of town manager. Those two have been set for the May 20th election, special election. The only way to get rid of your referendum is to actually pass a different ordinance that repeals that. And it would be a fairly short thing. It's something I can certainly draft if the board wishes. The only way to get rid of the recall is for those two trustees to resign.
Right.
So putting those aside, knowing that right now
it's not in our power.
Right now they're there. No, it is in your in your power. The recall isn't, but the ordinance is. So some of the things. Putting those aside, you have an initiative right now that is an ordinance that creates a code of ethics regarding conflict of interest for elected officials. So this is essentially the same thing as if you asked me to draft an ordinance and set it up here, and you review it and say, okay, yeah, we agree, let's vote on it. And if you adopt it, then it doesn't have to go to an election, it's adopted. It's essentially the same thing as if you ask me to draft this ordinance and give it to you. If you don't agree with it, you can say, we don't agree, and we want to see what the voters think, or both. You may say, well, we don't know, we want to hear what the voters think. And you can set it aside and it goes to the ballot. Attorneys are terrible with math. I don't think you can coordinate, can we coordinate those? Let's see. 15, 30, 60. You may be very close on coordinating the May 20th for all three issues, the referendum and recall, along with initiative. That may be something to think about. you cannot make changes to the ordinance as presented. So if you adopt it, you're adopting it as written. Again, I didn't draft it. I've reviewed it. I have some comments on it. You could adopt it and amend it by a future ordinance, which can cause issues, but you can adopt ordinances just the same way you would adopt an ordinance to amend something in your code that you didn't like. You know, the lasting time ordinance will prevail. So if you adopt an ordinance at this meeting, you should adopt an ordinance that says the opposite of the next meeting, the second one in time, the most recent in time prevails. So, other questions, other ways that I can explain it?
No, I think that was.
No, that's great, but I'm just asking about timeline then, since you said you had some thoughts regarding this initiative, what would be your timeline to have your ordinance drafted?
That's an important distinction. I cannot change this ordinance.
Right.
You would have to adopt this ordinance as written. My comment would be what you would possibly think about proposing it in separate amendment. So if you have an ordinance that, let's say you have an ordinance that says, we're going to add the Canadian flag for whatever reason, because the flag's right there. So we're going to add a Canadian flag here. That's what we want. It's always going to be on here. And it needs to, because Canadians are weird, it needs to be taken down and put back up every day. These ones can stay, but that needs to be taken down and put up. If that's what this said, that's what you would have to do. Until you came back and you said, you know what, it's fine just to stay out on that. You're still going to have it, it's just going to stay out on that. So that may be an example of a small tweak that you might think about. So the board can certainly adopt it. I will tell you, you have a dual reading system. So tonight would be the first reading. Your next meeting, so you would need to vote and pass it tonight. So we get it brought to the next meeting, read again, voted on again, and if passed, then would be effective in 30 days. It's arguable that if you felt that the changes that needed to be made were of a welfare safety issue, that you could pass an ordinance at the next meeting. At the time this was read for a second time, you could pass an emergency ordinance that superseded or fixed anything you wanted to on that, as long as you can tie it to a health, safety, or welfare. I'm not sure you could here, but that is something that if you really feel changes in here need to be made, you could look at that. And you could tie it to, essentially, it would both become effective on the same date. So the latest in time would be it. So put it second on the agenda. Other questions on the board?
The welfare provision, I'm guessing you couldn't suggest that it's the welfare of the town's treasury, that you're trying to save money by avoiding an election. Is that a reasonable welfare for?
You know, that's something I would want to check with the senior partner on. I'm not sure.
It's probably welfare of the residents.
The most recent welfare ordinances I drafted were no more building in flood areas until we figure out what should be built and how it should be built. So more life and limb, but possible. And I can look at it and talk. So if the board agrees with it, and I mean, knowing right now you have a special election scheduled, the cost of adding another ballot issue is probably not very significant, unless you're adding another page onto there, which very well could be, because it's a very expensive ordinance. But in the scheme of things, adding it to an existing election.
What do you guys think? I like if we're able to get this on the May 20th.
I have to say what the people want to vote on this issue. I'm fine with their decision.
My first position would be I'd like to avoid the May 20th election and see if we can get that town manager ordinance rescinded or whatever needs to take place with the attorney's guidance there. And to that end, with that thinking, then to adopt this, knowing that I have some concerns and I don't love it, but I like the idea of the code of ethics for the town. But I have some things that I don't particularly think are great about this particular wording, but it sounds like something we could address later in public meetings as checks.
Madam Mayor, it may be, based on some information that may come to light further in the agenda, maybe worth it to table this item till the end of the meeting.
Okay.
And maybe just think about it something.
Okay.
It sounds like something might be weighing in, so that you might want to wait to make a decision until the end of the meeting.
Okay,
It's the board's pleasure.
okay.
Would that be a
Like, can we just,
You don't want to have a motion from your town attorney, I'll tell you.
no, let's, guys, let's just table this then, and then,
We need a motion.
A motion to table this towards the end of the meeting.
okay, second. Okay, let's vote. All those in favor, vote by saying aye. No, I mean, yes, but, okay, all okay, so it's getting late, yeah. Okay, mayor's report, I'm just, wanna to, thank the previous trustees for all they've done, and also welcome you guys, and as we move forward, just, thank you very much. Excited about being able to do this with you guys. I think that's it right now. Okay, Trustee Stevens, do you have a report?
No, for this time.
Trustee Flynn?
No.
Trustee Flynn? Trustee Butts?
No report.
No reports. Okay. Interim town manager staff reports. Christie, have a report? Okay, attorney's report.
I'm gonna request that my report be moved down until, preferably right above the, previously tabled motion, item.
Okay.
And I actually would request board that, based on the, some of the new trustees and some of the questions that may arise, it may behoove the board to, discuss this in an executive session. I would imagine it would probably be a 5-minute executive session to make sure that everything's clear.
Okay. Let's go to new business. Is there any new business? At the time? Okay, municipal correspondence, Chris?
You have the letter from the, Krista State. Everybody got that, and the text in there asking if you want to consider updating the comprehensive plan from 2007. And
Sorry, Chris, what's the essence of that letter?
I'll get you a copy, Dick.
I think public
It's,
should.
Well, when then somebody, the board members read it, okay, they all have.
I don't have the letter in front of me, but Mr. Cassie has offered to do an update and to do a comprehensive plan again.
Good, okay, good.
For now,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
So that's the gist of that letter.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
We have, a letter to our attorney at CROG, and an email actually in the letter, where, Howard Price has been signing and Ralph Acosta has been signing.
Oh, good. Surprised. Well, I am surprised because they don't talk to the board. Okay.
It should be noted that, the letter from Bryce dated April 3rd, and that the letter from Acosta was dated yesterday.
Okay, so will we get copies of those letters?
I have to scratch it.
Okay. Okay. So, both trustee Lucasio and trustee Price have resigned for the record. Okay.
Earlier in the meeting, there was an indication that Rob MacArthur's status was in question.
Right.
Is there any information on that? Okay.
Sure. Now that, I'm assuming that's what you meant by in light of the future, what we tabled is, do we need to do that after discussion?
What I was saying is that now you have more options, and more things on it. You also have, inherited, some direction from a prior board that the attorney would rather, confirm or, question if you want to, as the newly seated board, continue in that way. Why I don't assume that the board members that are aware of that prior executive session would want to discuss it without disclosing that. It may be.
I encourage an executive session. Is that what you're trying to get at?
I would highly suggest that.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it would be extensive, and for those new board members, and for members of the audience, I will reaffirm that executive sessions are not for the purpose of decision-making. They are actually for the purpose of essentially going into your attorney's office and sitting down, typically, and sitting down and saying, okay, we're your client, what do we do here? How do we do damage control? How do we fix this issue? How do we address this? What are our options? Then you get the information, and then you come out of executive session. A lot of people don't understand that executive sessions are in fact they're saying, okay, well, I vote we do this, well, I vote we do this, and then come out. So although I see the need for an executive session, I think that at least one board member is more familiar with it, that it would be a brief one, and to the extent that anything needed to be decided, obviously wouldn't be in the executive session.
Let's move to go to executive session.
Okay, discussion.
Is there anything after the executive session that is going to be, is anything that we can do before that will
Executive.
finish?
Yeah, can we finish the municipal correspondence?
Yeah. Are there any more municipal?
Not really, I think everybody got a memo from Rob MacArthur dated 4/3 about snowplow. Everybody got that?
Yes. I guess I can try to do the second half of my attorney report first. You have been presented 2 letters of resignation from the 2 recalled trustees. And 31 Colorado Revised Statute 31.4 504 1 provides that, and this is under the recall statute, so it's a subpart of that if any officer resigns by submitting a written letter of resignation to the clerk at any time prior to the recall election, all recall proceedings shall be terminated. So, congrats, you got rid of part of your election. Things to ponder, I guess, remaining issues on the agenda would be, you still have a citizens initiative measure and a citizens referendum measure that do force you to make some decisions. If the board would rather hear those decisions openly, that's fine. If they want to hear them in executive session, either one's fine with me.
Okay. You would prefer executive? Okay. I prefer open, but
Again, no decision
I
will be
just-
made, it's simply an
I know,
information
I
gathering,
just,
so.
I don't like us sitting down and going into executive session right off the bat. It's just, I don't prefer that at all, so, but, okay. We have already stated with our resolution that we want to rescind that town manager job, you know? So could we just do an ordinance to rescind that? And what do we have to talk about there? If that's what we're talking about in the executive session?
That's not necessarily the part that I was speaking, that you may want to speak in the executive session about, so I'm certainly happy to let the board know. Right now, it's kind of hard because you have a motion for an executive session in a second.
Okay.
So
Would you have-
I keep looking to
Okay.
the two
We need
that
a vote.
are saying that, so.
Okay, we need to vote.
So
All
maybe-
those in favor?
Maybe one clarification is that, to the extent that, I can talk, to the board about the election issues in an open meeting, I would counsel you that that's fine, that's not the part that I'm talking about that would be best served in an executive session, so if that
helps.
If that helps, or do you want to vote on it, or?
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't get the first or the second.
Tyler, second.
Okay.
And I assume if you're, maybe you feel like that, you can-
We go in there.
I think it's cool with that.
Yeah, they said with far. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you weren't at her house. Kind of more like bipolar future, like. That's all for that here. You have to go back to
I couldn't.
I have the same shoes.
I love them.
Is it
They're so
standard?
comfortable.
I used the yellow shoes.
Oh, yes,
They
yes,
like,
they have
like,
And I don't know
Well,
what
it makes it look so good. People like say it's like a football team.
The Rams?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't own a single thing that's yellow, so I'm like, okay.
Mine are teeny tiny though, because I'm a 7.5.
Oh.
Tiny.
Come on, this is longer than 5 minutes,
These are
let's
nine,
go.
well, I'm 9.5, 9.5 in the family.
When we're old,
But I'm
we're
65.
tired, we want to go home.
When I was your age, a little younger than your age, my foot was my last year.
Really?
I wore an 11 when I was grade.
Oh, wait, I remember. You know Miss Autumn? Autumn, she's yours. She's expecting.
Yes, okay, right here,
Yeah,
right.
so, like, I've known her son since I was probably like 4.
Oh.
And I was her best friend growing up, that's how I know her. And like,
All these chairs
I
need to go
like her adopted daughter for the longest time, because she used to live like right next door.
Oh, that's
So
right.
she was a girl, and she's gonna find out Friday, and she's gonna call me, and we're gonna go do the expiration together, she said.
Awesome, that'll be fun. I'm waiting too, right, the one that just had a baby is one of my counselors, my other counselor is pregnant. And we're really hoping, she has 3 boys, we're really hoping for a girl, 2 more weeks to find out. And then, because I really have to run 3 showers for boys.
Those can stay out, I think.
She hopes it's a
We're not
boy,
gonna
yeah,
do
but
that.
she's living
You
the
just
whole
borrow
house,
some of those to
a
fill
whole
out.
house of boys, and I'm like, you need a girl.
I know, I usually
These
we
are
have
upstairs,
boys a
the
lot,
ones
but
that are permanently
they just,
here.
boys are easier, because then they don't have to get a bunch of stuff. She's not my friend, she's not. We're hoping, I keep yelling at her. You let her know, or something. I know, man, I gotta be some girly stuff, so that'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. There's so much stuff in the shower, parties.
That takes part in that.
Oh, that'd be cool. You can totally do that. People use our space sometimes. Like we have graduation, well, we had a baby shower. I don't know her name. There's a lot of people, and we've got graduation. Mariah? She's the price for the last year. She really don't like.
I don't like you.
It's not like you.
No, I've had experiences with your.
This is not anything like you. This is like, let's screw around for 50 minutes and here are 5 minutes of my. That's what they play. A ton of games. They don't, it's not like, it's not a church of the it's not like. They don't really, I mean, they play like one YouTube song that God's made. And then, like, literally the talk is 5 minutes, that's the play. It is, they call it 50 minutes of chaos and 10 minutes of like, seriously. That's it. I mean, they just got to get ready to do an Easter Saturday or like this Wednesday. All over town.
Yeah, you might enjoy this, it's pretty crazy.
It really is nothing like it. It is time is it? It's at 7:28. 7:27? Oh, 7:27 starts to 8:27 on Wednesday night. And in Ethan House, Sterling and Kevin is our they are the leaders, adults, and then there's some youth leaders. But it's right there by the This is broken. And it's, the kids have crazy fun. All kids from all over, some are not church at all, some do have a church, you know. And like I said, it's usually just ridiculous.
My school, USC, they have really good Bible study.
Mhm.
So we play like it's like probably like 20 minutes of seriousness and then 10 minutes of worship, and then we kind of group up with the kids. So we play sardines and burger in the dark.
These kids do like, what is that they were doing? Yeah, they were bigger, better, young, lighter, better. It was, and then like when they had this brain freeze thing, and then everybody had to compete to who could start down the auto things, you know, or whatever that.
Yeah.
As fast as they could, how many they could. They had to make this one time. They broke into teams and had to make it this super long straw and suck as much out of a 2-liter Coke, you know, as they could get down. And they do that. And Sterling and Kevin act like they call themselves the brothers from the same mother. People are like this. They're just ridiculous. And all of them seem to really enjoy it. But like I said, it's really like just it's an outreach tool to people, but it is not.
I don't know anyone.
You would know Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany.
And Gabriella. And then do you know Abby? Abby Hill? Some of the girls from the dance that you used to do go. And because they're not all like high school, like there are like some of the homeschooling kids going. So but you would know that like Tiffany go even so recently, and they're really friends with like that. They're just highly inclusive. They're like, come and join us, you know. So they're really fun. There's a girl named, I always call her Bethesda, but that's not it. And she's not really sure what she's like Bethesda does, but I always say it's not that. It's a big name.
It's not bad.
No, it's not. I can't remember. Riley will remember. And, but, so you would at least know a couple right away. And it's not so great. I mean, it bounces. So there's always potential in it. Not anybody knows it. So, and I mean, it's really like that. It's really good. You know, I think these are really big. You need a ride. Tiffany can drive. Your brother could go too.
You know what?
Yeah, that's for high schoolers.
Like, look, you know,
Oh, yeah.
It's cold out.
Yeah. What are you doing, Mother?
This is Swedish ivy.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm going to plant it and grow it.
Yes, because our house is already full of.
I know.
Our house puts those plants in. That's my mom.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really? I love that.
want to share something.
I'm actually in church the other day, I tell people that.
No, there's a new blog post I was going to share with you guys. I wrote it tonight because I didn't have to do what I normally do.
We have so many. I didn't tell the church that I was Larry's daughter, not his wife. A lot of people didn't hear my last name, Sue, about his wife.
And I'll bring it over there and she can read it.
In a conversation with Laura.
So is this your blog from just my blog or is
This is the adoption blog.
Oh, the adoption blog, okay. I didn't even know you had an adoption blog.
Oh yeah, it goes way back. You want to know what international adoption's like? Just read this blog.
Okay.
So you can read the
Yeah, we have
backstory
a few
there.
friends.
This is the blog.
International blog. Actually, I work for them. Oh, yeah.
So you can scroll up like this. You can just do this.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, so it's touch line. Okay.
Boy, they're really good. I thought that was fighting.
What are those guys again? They gear up and they go back to their family. They'll have very much doesn't it? Like to go and if they go there like this, they will escort them in and that work today.
Closer to it.
Yeah, kind of they get all packed up, just ready to go. And now right in the with the team.
So it's swap out.
And it's just, it's usually why.
We don't hear those ones.
So for this,
We don't eat guts with the amount of stuff we carry, it's crazy. We generally have about 3 bags on scene, big dinners.
Yeah, that's good.
We're gonna drop here.
So you're gonna be all right, you're gonna be okay.
You guys. He's not.
We gotta put somebody on like the rest of the jargon. I have no idea what that is. It's something like really wrong coding. No, it's what? That's what the police will use for. Somebody's really he'll behave now.
Are you still getting a bunch of those?
You're going to, we're going to call this place. That's your mom's on? Right. They have to have daily in the wrong part. Yeah. And you got
Good job, Dad. Sounds good.
Not mine.
Sounds good.
That's cool.
So there's other posts.
Oh, okay.
Dad, okay, so today, Joe Duran, like, we're just sitting there, you just seen Joe, like, scratch his
He
head.
called me all today. I heard.
I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah, I already heard that.
And So he's
I don't wanna
scratching
hear
his
that
head,
anymore,
he's like,
'cause I'm gonna get it.
he's like, I'm so old, and we're like, what's wrong? He's like, I turned 44 on Thursday. And then he's like, how old are you? And his parents went around the room. I said, I don't know. He's
What
like,
did you say?
I said, I don't know. I didn't said, I don't know. And then Joe's like, your dad's old. And I said, you're old too. And he's like, yeah, I know. Your dad's old.
I'll deal with Joe during.
That's just wrong.
I will deal with Joe.
You're not gonna do any. I like Joe. He's
No,
a good
I'll
guy.
deal with Joe. Joe would be at something else. That's his thing.
You know he's an expert.
There you go again.
I really do. I'm gonna get him a piece of cake tomorrow, and I'm gonna stick 2 candles on it. We're gonna go up to him, and I'm gonna be like, I couldn't stick any more. You're too old.
Get that
There
chicken,
you
Mom.
go. Got
That
it.
chicken.
So that's the, so
Okay, they're live.
Oh, I
thought 5 minutes.
Yeah, the IOs.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
I'm sure Matt's good, guys. And I
They're really,
resolutions
they're
and
really.
he didn't talk to me.
Well, you know.
Yeah, we're with them. You're either really.
And that would be because he's still serving the old.
That's probably the first and last time we were.
Yeah.
But if you have, you're bam.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the leadership. They're all pretty good. They really want
Get out of there.
Is it 11?
Sorry, Sam, just did his first right one.
Wow, awesome.
So you gotta pick up the first.
I know, I read that. That's so awesome.
Matt's chair.
Holy shit. Yes, that's so cool. That's really cool. That's my That's neat.
Unless you want me to make yours.
She'll find it. She's good finding.
I get about that. That's your adoption block?
Yeah, so this, when you go to it, if you wanna know how Jacob came to us, you just go to.
Not quite sure.
I'll make a case.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need a copy of those resolutions. I only had 2, all the rest were taken. Chris, if we need copies of the resolutions, will you make us copies? You don't have to do it right
At
now.
some point.
No, I'm not saying you have to do it right now, I'm saying if I were to come later in the week, is that like
for your patience.
Thank you, guys. We're back in session at 11:25. Chris, thank you for staying too. So late.
This might be a record.
I know,
Is this a
this is the
record?
latest since.
No, close.
Close.
Let's not try
Let's not, yeah, let's not do that. So, coming out, Mr. Cobb, you want to make a statement?
Let's see, this is to note that we've just finished an executive session. The scope of the discussions were within the scope of the statute, and that I was present throughout the discussions, so they are also subject to the attorney-client provision.
Okay. So with that said, we were talking about the item number 12, the citizens initiative petition, correct? An ordinance establishing a code of ethics. So, board, what,
I would like to make a motion to approve the ordinance as stated.
okay,
You may want to amend your motion to say adopt ordinance.
adopt,
Adopt and approve, okay.
adopt the initiative,
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance as written, as submitted.
submitted.
My learning curve is.
Okay,
I will second.
okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay. And then the other thing was the ordinance for the town, rescinding a town manager. Due to the resignations this evening, we really, it would be in the best interest we feel, and I'm talking here, so
Yeah.
y'all feel free to not have an election on April 20th.
I would like to make a motion to have a work session to, and I'm thinking, we're talking about the new town hall. To-
No, the town manager.
Yeah, and then we're talking regarding the resolution doesn't supersede the ordinance of the town manager.
An ordinance.
So we're interested in
Ordinance.
having an ordinance
That makes sense.
that rescinds the previous ordinance establishing the position of the town manager.
And doing that would eliminate the special election. As conditions exist right now.
I'm sorry.
That would eliminate the need for the special election on May 20th.
Okay.
So I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Wait,
Are we gonna read the
please.
ordinance? Yeah, just a second.
So,
We've already moved and seconded your ordinance.
That's your drafting.
I
First and second.
yeah,
David, myself.
Mayor, do you have the ordinance number, or the ordinance number that is the subject of the referendum?
Yes. I think it's 03, 2015. It's in the one, it's in the resolution. What resolution is that? 7?
Oh, yeah, you had 03, you got that?
03, 2000.
03, 2013.
Do you want the title?
It's here.
Yeah, there's a lot of papers. Jeez. You guys.
That was a candid wow.
Welcome to election.
Heck, we're a society.
Not used to so much, dude.
While Mr. Crowd is typing, can we table that and for just a few moments and talk about a potential work session.
I would second your motion to table.
Yes.
Can we look at some schedules and see if there's a time we can talk about some things, the initiative, as well as the getting up to speed on what just got signed tonight, as far as with town hall and contractors and everything else. And as I look forward-looking, would any night work better for y'all? I'm looking at the 25th of April possibly.
That's a Friday.
That would be a Friday night.
That works. I mean,
That works for me.
Works for me.
okay.
Yeah.
Would you like a workshop on the 25th of April to get up to speed, I guess you can say, get up to speed for the new town hall? And we will
Just for
invite,
our boards and all.
yeah, we'll invite,
Mr. Crosby, the contractor.
Contractors, citizens that have questions.
Concerns and questions regarding this, so that we can all get up to speed on what's going on with it.
right. Okay,
That's my motion.
okay. I'll second that. Okay, any further discussion?
I don't,
Maybe it's not a motion then. Learning curve.
I think you might have a workshop and you all agree.
You may just want to direct staff to notice that.
You know, just a workshop to get up to speed on the
I
new
mean, you're
town hall.
gonna do that, yeah, I won't be here.
Okay, April
So,
25th.
but I heard you say you're gonna invite the contractor.
Yes.
Right.
Who's going
And
to
it's a Friday.
Yes.
I just put
So
it in
they, are they in Denver?
No,
Okay, they're local. Okay, so we're not.
you want to get, did you get Ken's card, Ken Murphy?
No. So who would be inviting them?
Who has to turn it to
I think it's on his resume, which everybody got, but
Oh, thank you.
You're
probably right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chris, Chris, who would have the most complete detail on the finances and where the money came from and how it had been secured and allocated? Who would have for the town?
town hall,
Yeah, who would have?
I would.
Would you?
Yeah, I mean, I would have the same thing everybody else has gotten, board's gotten over the last 2 years, but yeah, I have that same file.
Is there a chance, since you won't be here to compile that, so we can have that information?
I could give you copies.
That'd be- Okay, great.
Now, of like the grant, because see, the money won't come in. It's the fee of the
Right,
door
but I'd like to know where the grant, what the grant was.
Right, I'll just give you a copy of the grant.
Okay.
And then the 50,000 donation from regional building.
Okay.
Now, all they did is send a check.
Okay.
That's all, we know, everything regional. Then the rest of the insurance money, which they kept half, but they gave us some to purchase, to fill in the gaps of purchasing.
Okay, I would like that, information.
Okay, Mr. Krog, could you contact the people for us and the contractors and tell them about the meeting? Is
Put it
that-
on your calendar.
Put it on the calendar?
So you want, you're out your clerk to, notice the meeting.
Okay.
Or the workshop.
Right, right, that has
We
the
just
work.
need them to know about
Then can you, I'm sorry, I'm typing, can you tell me the date? And- and
25th.
the 25th,
Of
7
April.
o'clock.
Of April?
Uh-huh.
And would you like one?
You want to start
from
6
our-
o'clock?
Yes, please, since you're, well, I'll ask, yes, since you've been part of the contract.
I'm glad to come.
Yeah.
Not to mention, bring you up to speed on it.
Yes, but if you have the contact and stuff, you've been contacting them.
Well, I'm sure I can get all the contacts. So April 22nd at 6?
25th.
25th.
See, it was April 25th at 6.
At 6 or 7, guys?
7. I heard 7.
Would it be better to start earlier?
That's
And
what I thought.
Okay.
is 6 good?
Trustees, that's fine. 6 o'clock.
6
Okay.
Chris, it's 6 o'clock then.
And you want me to invite,
The-
do you want
yes.
Mike Wagner from Sursa?
Yes,
Ken Murphy from, Murphy Construction?
right,
Fred Greens or a representative from Ed Green?
yes,
Mark Lamb or Mark Lamb, representative?
yes,
Rob Seaver,
yes.
and, interim town manager,
Mr. McCarthy.
Mr. McCarthy. Okay.
Should we have planning commission chair there as well? Planning commission chair as well.
Planning commission chair. Can you remind me of that?
Mr. Allison.
If the board doesn't see anything, by tomorrow, close of business, that you've been CC'd on that, would you mind reminding us?
Okay.
Perfect.
I will do.
I appreciate that.
Okay, the next order quickly, business tonight is the new ordinance to rescind, our town manager. And I'll just read this to you guys, that's okay. An ordinance rescinding ordinance number 3-2013. Whereas the town board of trustees previously adopted ordinance number 3-2013, and whereas the town board of trustees received a petition for referendum for ordinance number 3-2013. Now therefore be it ordained by the town board of the trustees of the town of Green Mountain Falls. 1, ordinance number 313 is hereby rescinded. 2, severability, right?
Yeah, I would advise the mayor that in the light of the late hour, that you would not need to read the
anything.
language. The two remaining provisions simply deal with if anyone contests the provisions of the ordinance and they were to knock out one section of it. In this case, there is only one. All others would remain.
Okay.
It's boilerplate.
Okay, and so it's introduced and passed at this meeting today on the 15th of April. This is a first reading, so we will have a second reading and a public workshop or public hearing. Okay, so
Can we take advantage of the 25th meeting for our second reading? Was that not enough? Why can we make it a meeting? Would that help us at all?
I think the trustees are gonna, I think with this, the way we're doing it, we'll still have time to not get it on the election on the 20th. Right?
Yeah, if the goal of the board is to eliminate this from the election, I would stick as close to your standard protocol for adopting ordinances as to make it very clear to the citizens that this is done under the new board.
Okay, is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay, second. We moved it, okay, second. Okay, all those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Your clerk's gonna need a little help with the
First and second again.
First, Michael was the second.
Okay.
So the public hearing would be on the 6th.
Right.
Yes, makes sense.
Okay,
What was that ordinance number?
that is ordinance number,
It's actually, it hasn't been given an ordinance number. The ordinance number is actually assigned by your clerk.
Okay.
So
we'll wait for that.
typically, I'll be able to anticipate, and I can get an ordinance number from the clerk, but based on the literally 11th hour of this, we do not have the ordinance number. I can advise the board that a lack of an ordinance number prior to final adoption is no effect.
Right.
So tonight was first reading. Second hearing and adoption is public hearing and public hearing.
right. Okay. Is there any further business, board? Okay, if there's no further business or objections, this meeting is now closed at 11:40. Thank you, Mr. Cobb and Chris, thank you so much.
Just need those two things signed.
Okay.